What is happening, guys? Welcome to Radio. Is that beautiful?
That was a little much.
It's your boy, Scott.
And Dustin.
And we're hanging out with you guys again. Welcome back to another episode. Welcome to the couch of wisdom. I never called it that.
There's not a lot of wisdom on this couch.
Yeah, you're right.
There's a lot of weight on this couch. There's not a lot of wisdom.
Hey, now. In this episode, we're joking around. We're going to have some fun with it. But we're also talking about some serious subject that's really close to both of our hearts. Mm-hmm. And that is bullying. Now, this is a very broad, lots of perspective, lots of variables. So we're not going to go too long with it. We're going to try to generalize most of what we're talking about. So again, we're not going to try to hit every anecdotal scenario. As I tell the kids that I teach in martial arts, I don't like what ifs. And we're actually going to be doing a self-defense video where I'm actually going to do some self-defense techniques on camera.
You might break my arm.
I might, just a little bit. No.
So stay tuned.
So
not to this video.
It's for a good cause. But
Pepe Le Pew.
Anyways, let's jump right into it with some statistics first, and then we're going to kind of do a little testimonial, very brief, and then we'll get right into our opinions and what we should do. From the reported bullying statistics that they have. For national statistics of being bullied, 28% out of U.S. students in grades 6 to 12 experienced bullying. 20% of U.S. students in grades 9 through 12 experienced bullying. Approximately 30% of young people admit to bullying others in these surveys. Now, these are surveyed reports, so, let's be real. Not every one of these kids is going to listen and be honest about if they're bullying someone or if they've been bullied, because it is a personal issue. Mm-hmm. It's a very issue that affects a lot of people.
Right. Definitely a topic that is close to my heart. I know it's close to yours. And I'm just going to open it up with, if you've watched these videos before, then you know a little bit about my background. I'm a hood hick.
Hashtag hood hick every video.
Hashtag hood hick every video.
Yep.
And so I've spoke about it quite a few times, about being the minority. So I got picked on for because I was brought up in a predominantly black neighborhood, a predominantly black school. And then once I moved out into the woods, I still went to a school predominantly filled with blacks. And so I got bullied for being white. Not only that, I was heavy set, still heavy set, but I didn't have as much muscle tone to me as I did, as I do now.
Looking good, man.
Wow,
good.
You know boom, muscle.
Yeah. All right.
So I got bullied for being overweight. I got bullied for being white, and then just own little tragedies within the homes, within my household that I felt like I got bullied by parents, siblings, otherwise all that other things, and it really put a lot of mental toll on me because I would go home and nothing would go right. I would go to school and I would get beat up and picked on because I wasn't the smartest. I was white. I was overweight. I got picked on for any and every possible thing. And then when I started playing football, I was in the school that I went to. I don't know how other schools are, but we mixed 6th, 7th, and 8th graders up into one team. And we played football. So instead of it being 6th graders versus 6th graders, 7th grade versus 7th grade,
right.
8th grade, 8th grade.
You mixed the grades up, yeah.
We mixed the grades up, and every team that we played was like that. And out of the entire school that tried out, I was the only 6th grader to make the team. And so I knew that was because I was bigger than most kids. I wasn't fast at all. I looked like a very big marshmallow. Okay, that's what it was. And I felt a lot of pride from that, and football kind of helped out a lot. And as I grew into that and I got more aggressive and I progressed in playing sports, the bullying kind of stopped because, one, I learned how to man up. I learned how to fight, how to toughen up. And, I really, once I got into high school, I kind of sat back and I observed all the popular kids. I observed the way that they talked to other people.
Yeah.
And I just kind of learned from that and learned the body language, learned the actual language of how people spoke. And I started acting and speaking like them, but with a positive light to it.
Yeah.
So that's just kind of a generalized sense of my background.
And I went through a very similar In California, I was usually, because I was really overweight at the time, and I was almost twice the size that I am now, and I was a lot shorter, and I was just really, that fat little kid, and it was weird. I'm weird anyway, but I was really weird and judged for that.
Right.
I was judged. I didn't have the I wouldn't say opposite of racism, but I wasn't the minority as far as the fact, because California is a little more mixed cultured than the South. But at the same time, I was still, the white kid, the fat kid, the weird kid, even in the acting world when I was an actor out there. And so I was seen as the bully victim, or the kind who could be a bully. I was picked on all the way from elementary until I graduated.
Right.
I've gotten into fights. I've gotten in verbal disputes where I was just like, oh, no, please stop, kind of to the point of being jumped, to the point of breaking a kid's leg because he wouldn't leave me alone.
Right.
I got into cage fighting and martial arts is what I did instead of football. That's fighting with fighting, right?
Yeah.
Now, when I learned that, I was able to back some people off. But here's what I want to talk about with bullying, though. We learn in that way, but you see, not every kid can stand up like that.
Right.
You tell a kid to have tough skin. That's easier said than done.
It really is.
And the problem here that a lot of people see is the problem is like, well, it's the victim's problem, or it's even just the bully's problem. The problem stems from our culture too. It stems from our parents. I'm sorry, I'm gonna wait for that trigger. It stems from the parents, and it stems from the teachers. I'm gonna wait for that trigger, right? I know I'm triggering a lot of y'all right now because it's true, guys, and it's something that I'm really passionate about because I was on both ends as a kid, and then I see it now. I went on tour with a thing called Epic Assemblies, and we talked about teen pregnancy and drugs and alcohol and bullying and suicide. I almost committed suicide. I tried to commit suicide. I had a friend who I lost to suicide because of bullying. Now you're like, well, you just need to toughen up. Okay, yes and no. All right. Yes, you need to, everyone needs to kind of learn with the thick skin, but not everyone is capable of doing that. You got kids who have social disorders. That's not their fault, just genetically. That happens. You have kids who their personalities are more introverted than extroverted, and they rather have their time alone, and yet they're made fun of for either their gender, what they look like, what their culture is, their background, for the color of their skin. It's messed up. And it is based on a culture. And it's not just America. It's worldwide. America's right now one of the top, but it's not the top, actually. I think the top is actually the UK.
Really?
Yeah, I think the UK has topped America now. But for real, though, it's gotten to the point now where it's like, oh, yeah, it's okay, And then I get the opposite side of extremists who are like, if my kid says something and pushes him, he shouldn't have to push him back or hit him. Your kid shouldn't hit my kid. Okay? Like, what?
Yeah.
Like, what?
No.
Shut up. And I got some more stats I want to real quick and tell, and this is going to lead into the next part. See, this is the stats on people who have seen bullying, because the thing I want to talk about is the bystander. Yes. Because that's a big part that would help eliminate a lot of percentages of bullying. About this percent. 70.6% of young people say they have seen the bullying in their schools. 70.4% of school staff have seen bullying. 62% witnessed bullying 2 or more times at least in the last month, and 41% bullying once a week. When bystanders intervene, bullying stops within 10 seconds, 50% of the time.
57% of the time.
Not the whole time, but that's over half. Mm-hmm. So that right there, just by somebody saying, hey man, why are you doing that? Mm-hmm. Hey man, can you chill out? Why are you doing that? Why are you talking to her like that? Okay? Or especially those teachers. Like teachers, I know for American teachers that you are underpaid and most of the time underappreciated by our government, by our people, by our counselors at school, our staff at school. You're underappreciated. I understand that. Not from us. Okay? We know. I've had a few teachers who just give everything for me. And I didn't show them the respect they deserved at the time because I was so knuckleheaded that I didn't. But I went on tour, and real quick, the very first show we had, I had a scene I was an acting sketch of my scene and my testimony. It was a scene with 4 other actors on stage in front of 4,000 students and all the school staff in Tucson, Arizona. Mm-hmm. And the scene was bullying, and I got bullied and my name picked on, and the girl's bullying me on the stage, blah, blah, blah. It's over. I sit there, we have stats come up with bullying and suicide rates, and as it comes up with a suicide scene, I pull out a gun and I point it to my head. It's a very intense scene. I'm crying, I'm sobbing, I'm angry. It's a very loud scene. I pull it out, the gun, and I start. You hear in the audience, do it. Pull the trigger. Just like a bunch of people think it's a joke, right? Because, I know it's like, all right, that's nervous energy, right? It's nervous energy. And the teachers, we had our tour directors looking. The teachers didn't say anything. Didn't tell them to be quiet. Some of them left the room. There was no intervention in there. The teacher's like, all right, they're your problem now.
Wow.
And I'm like, that's the problem. You have teachers who do care, who are underappreciated, who don't get the pay they deserve to be a teacher in this country. And then you have those who, I don't know why you're in the school in the first place. And I'm sorry, and I get passionate about this. This is kind of a more serious video because, November 10th, coming up soon, we have a event here in Shreveport, Louisiana, and it's called the Who We Are Anti-Bullying Show. And it's gotten a lot bigger. We've got t-shirts on sale now, so if you guys want to, we'll have a link in the description below to the website and all that stuff. If you want to get a t-shirt with our logo and who we are on front. But it's a movement to say this is who we are. We are an individual. We are loved. We are who we are. This is my personality. We shouldn't be judged or bullied for that.
Right.
And it goes for teachers. It goes for counselors. It goes for school staff. It goes for all the school kiddos. Because the problem is not just in the kids, okay? It's in the teachers. It's in the parents. Mm-hmm. Parents, okay? I'm not going to get into the whole home life, you know what I'm saying? But what you teach your kids at home, it goes into what they learn at the school, and vice versa.
And I saw a video, not to cut you off, but I saw a video just last night before recording this, and it was showing how a parent treated her kid. See, the whole background of it was this kid was at school and they had a little event where they would do a fake vote on the presidents. Which I hate talking politics. I'm not big into politics at all. But they had a vote, and of course it was Hillary versus Trump, and the kid picked Trump. Mom got a hold of that information, knowing that he picked Trump, and this is a African American family. This isn't pointing at anybody. This is just stating facts of what it was. It's an African American family, and the mom packed the kid's stuff up, gave it to the kid, and said, "Get out of my house." Kid was almost 7 years old. Boy. Around seven, maybe 10 years old at the most, and he's crying and sobbing, and she said, "You ain't going to vote for him. Trump supporters are not going to be in this house." That ticked me off watching that. Yeah. That is too freaking much. Parents, get your crap together. And I say it like that because this is a real video, and this is something that I feel very strongly about, that I've never been kicked out because of my political views, but I've been kicked out of my parents' house for religious views. I've been kicked out of my parents' house for things lesser than that. I mean, I love my parents, don't get me wrong, and I understand the situation. I'm not getting into that, but parents, get your crap together. I understand y'all say there's no book to parenting. It's called the scripture, all right? Spare the rod, spoil the child. You don't have to kick your kid out because of his political view. That is...
Sorry, my southern came out there.
That is stupid. I will get close to the mic.
If you're listening to that podcast, I hope you had that nice in your ear, parents. But so that leads me to say this. I know we're very passionate. It's something this is probably one of our most passionate videos.
Yes.
Because for me, this is... I'll be honest, this is my movement. I wouldn't say my movement, but the movement that it's in my heart to do. Whether I do filmmaking and everything, this is the what I want to reach. Worldwide. It is worldwide, but America first and go from there.
Right.
Or city first and then go from there.
Right.
I'm not going to release all the details, but we have a very big now political influence. What I mean by that is we have some people from the White House that's probably might be visiting our stage on Shreveport.
Really?
Yeah, I can't release any names. I'm not allowed to yet. Y'all have to come out and find out, and we'll release more when it gets closer. But we might have some people from the White House coming out to our show. And that's a big step. I mean, and the reason why, it's not because we're bragging and being cool, because this is something that needs to be addressed.
Yes. Because
it's looked over. And I'm going to go from both sides, okay? From the first side of being I don't like using this word, but, the dads and the moms, don't be a pansy, toughen up. Yeah, you need to toughen up some. From the other side, you can't toughen up some in some areas, okay? And this whole stupid snitch thing, don't be a snitch. Don't be this. Don't tell. I would smack you in the face if I could. I don't know who you are. or how many of you are, but I would smack you in the face. Now, I understand there's a difference between tattletalers and snitching because someone's life is on the line. Okay? There's a difference. So what I'm talking about is I'm talking about that, let's just start 12, 13-year-old kid. Okay, freshman in high school. Mm-hmm. He goes out there. Let's do the typical thing. The jocks, the popular kids. I don't even know if you have jocks anymore, but the popular kids are picking on this kid. He's new, fresh meat. Okay, if he's teasing him a little bit, all right, it depends on what level you're talking about, all right? If they're just kind of teasing with them being whatever, but if they're starting to make his life miserable, they're really hitting where it hurts, and they're any kind of teasing, okay, I might call him, yo, man, that hat looks weird. What are you doing? Gaining 10 pounds. Maybe he doesn't care about that, all right? I gained 20 pounds, all right? But my point is, for us, we might be able to take that.
Yeah.
But someone, who can't take that, you say, oh, you gaining 5 pounds, bro? Looking a little fat there. There might be a joke, but he take that real personal. That could have hit him, maybe not in public, but maybe when he gets home and he's like, man, I really am ugly. I am fat. Maybe he's not any weight at all. There's no reason for bullying. People say, well, if you weren't fat, well, if you weren't weird, well, if you were popular, well, if you just play this, well, if you just make up your mind of your genders, okay, whatever you want to call it, all right? I can go on and on. But my whole point that I'm trying to say is this, guys, it shouldn't matter. It should be the human decency to treat each other with respect. Now, here's where we go into the science, or not science, but the little more medical, psychological point of view of teenagers. Mm-hmm. Because teenagers have this, I want to fit in, I'm trying to find my way, I got raising testosterone or hormones that are coming up from guys and girls, right? And they see the culture, especially for young ladies, with what you see on makeup ads and TV and stuff, and how they should look, and the popular cliques in movies, and girls want to look beautiful and be this perfect model to be in the popular crowd in high school. That will affect their college years or whatever years to go from there. Mm-hmm. So there's a whole background in that area that needs to be touched on that we'll talk more details in the future time. So as far as physical bullying is actually not even the biggest thing now. That was a big thing in the 90s and the 80s, was physical bullying. Mm. But now you've got
social media.
And social media. So I want to quickly read some cyberbullying statistics because that's a big thing. I'm not going to relieve all the details. We have a lady who is speaking at our Untapped Bullying show. And here her daughter committed suicide about 2 to 3 years ago. Mm. She was a young lady, a young, nice girl, 16 years old, I believe, 16 or 15. And she went to a Bossier school. I'm not going to say all the details, but her mom found her. She came home crying, went to her room, and found her dead. Mm. And that was one of her 3 girls. I think it was her oldest girl, I think. And that kills a parent. And that kills... It's horrible. And the fact that I'm trying to say is... Okay, this girl, she was, I'm not saying this for, any kind of stereotype, but this girl was a very attractive girl. Mm-hmm. She had everything going. She was a cheerleader. She was popular, the popular girl that doesn't have any problems. So the whole stigma that is put onto bullying that the popular guys don't have any problems. The popular girls have problems. That is horse putty. Horse putty. That's the nice way to say it, right?
Horse putty.
Horse putty, okay? It's HP. I don't mean the printer. All right. But my whole point is I'm saying there's this whole stigma that a certain type of people are bullied. Mm-hmm. That's not true. Yes, some of it leans to that, but it's not true. It's anybody and anyone, and it's unacceptable. So the cyberbullying facts, and this is where a lot of it comes in now, because rumors spread like fire on social media now.
You say one thing, and 5 seconds later, everybody knows what's going on.
Now, this is a recent statistic. 9% of students in grades 6 to 12 experienced cyberbullying. 15% of high school students were electronically bullied in the past year. But however, 52% of LGBTQ students experienced cyberbullying. How often? There are types of bullying, physical, cyberbullying. The most common types are verbal and social bullying. This whole stigma of sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me.
Is BS.
It's horse putty.
It's horse putty.
It's horse putty. And the reason why, guys, is because words have power. Mm-hmm. They do. Now, when you get strong enough, you can deter words, right? But when you're talking about a young male or female who's going through these changes and going through these struggles and trying to find their way of who they are in life, and they have these problems as far as like in their mind, and then you got these constant words and attacks and things that are being put in their head by even some of their own family. You know, it's hard, and who they thought were their friends, they get into this point. They're like, well, maybe I am. You know, their environment starts cultivating them because they're not yet strong enough. You know, and you got some kids who are, you know, but that's how they were raised. It comes into the teachers who are supposed to be there. It comes into the parent or parents or whoever, okay, but or guardian who is supposed to be there for them. And yeah, some kids are unfortunately on a different level. Some kids don't have their parents in the picture or don't have guardians or they're foster kids, and you know those are more of anecdotal, but they're still there that need to be addressed. You know, there was a recent thing on a documentary done on this kid about the homeless kids in the UK. And they were picked on because they were homeless, and which is unacceptable. And you know, he said, and the kid was interviewed. I think he was like 10, and he was interviewed, and he recently got a foster care. He finally got a home and everything, and he was like, I get picked on less now because I got a home, and it feels good to be home. But he shouldn't have been picked on regardless,
right?
And the whole point of view is that we need to look at this from the perspective of the victim, of the bully himself, because the bully themselves have the problems too.
Right. The more often than not, the ones who are bullying are the ones who are getting bullied at home, are the ones that aren't being raised properly at home, that their parents may be abusive verbally, physically, or otherwise. And the biggest
thing, stems from another source in school too. It's a lot of different variables. It could be
a lot of different variables. And the biggest thing is you never know somebody's mental mind state, because as he was talking about, he had his own problems and he dealt with trials of suicide. By the time I was in the 4th grade, I've attempted suicide more times than I count. By the time I was in the 4th grade, tell me of a elementary school, middle school kid no 4th grader should ever have to think about suicide. How does a 4th grader know about that stuff? I experienced that myself, and that's why I have thousands and millions of reasons why I got into ministry, but one of those reasons is because I felt so worthless. I felt pathetic because I had people who were close to me, family, told me that I was going to either die before I was 16, supposed to be locked up. I was not well enough. I was not fit enough. I was not attractive enough. That was from family members. And then when you go to school and you get beat up and you get bullied and you get picked on and say that you don't equivalent to anything, you don't amount to anything, I felt completely and utterly worthless. And I can say this as a 21-year-old man, a minister, a manager, somebody who's from the outside would look like he has his life together. I still deal with my own mental illnesses. I still deal with my own mental problems, and I can deal with them a lot better now that I'm more seasoned and that I have wise counsel I can go to. But at the time as a kid, you feel like you have nobody to go to.
And what's sad is the schools are supposed to be a safe place for kids.
Yes.
They really are. Like the school is supposed to be the place, excuse me, where you can go. Okay, you've given, especially if you got a rough home life, because you know, God helps some of us who've been raised in an interesting home life or have not experienced love that they should have, in some cases. But if you want your escape, right? If you can't, you don't have a room of your own, especially you got siblings or you're in a rough place, right? You want to go out. Okay, this is school time. Like, I can go hang out with friends, or I can go be away from my home and just that's your free time in the world as a kid. That's your world time for most of the time. But when you go out there, there's nothing but hate.
Yeah,
it's nothing but judgment. It's nothing but just so much crap that's in your face that everyone's telling you you're worthless. You have to fit this image. You have to fit this culture, and it's horrible.
And the biggest thing for me, especially now, just seeing it, is churches. Churches are supposed to be the safest place. It's supposed to be where you can come and you can worship your Creator. For
y'all listening? Y'all hope y'all listening right now.
Yes, this is about
gracious.
I'm about to hit preachers where it hurts. Okay, I'm about to hit church members where it hurts. Y'all are 9 times out of 10. I say y'all, the church that I'm with, some of those people are included, but most of y'all are the cause of that problem, because I have one of my best friends. I call him my brother because he's closer to me than even family. His own brother was bullied by people at the church, and he was pushed out of the church because of bullies in the church that were adults, that were children. He got bullied by almost everybody. And then when the pastor came in and made fun of him as well, he left, and then he wound up turning to being a cross-dresser, and he wound up changing to where now he is a homosexual. Not saying, if you are homosexual or anything, it's still all love, from this end right here.
Yeah.
But he was pushed out. My brother, or my best friend, I call him my brother, he was pushed away from the church. If it wasn't from a righteous man trying to pull him back and saying, look, you were shown a terrible image. That is not what Christ is. Yeah. Christ is love. Let me show you what that is. If it wasn't for that man showing him what a righteous man is and what God's love really is, he would have, now he's in college for ministry. He is an actual youth minister at this point in time. His brother got turned away, and nobody went and reached him. And now he's off doing his own thing. A righteous man finally pulled him aside, and now he's a preacher. He's a youth minister, And I got bullied in church. I just didn't. Yeah. I wasn't vocal about it too much. Not to the extent that some others did. Not to the extent that my best friend and his brother did. But I was bullied in the church, and I see a lot of bullying out of the church. If we can get out of our holy huddles, if we can stop saying that we've Americanized church. That's the sad thing, is we've Americanized church, and we've condensed it down to 4 walls. And you hear pastors harp on that. Well, we need to get out of our 4 walls. Well, then pastors, make events to where we're outside of those 4 walls. Make events where we're out in the public. Make events where you're doing something outside of the community. If you harp on doing things outside of those 4 walls, then do things outside of those 4 walls. If you preach that we're supposed to live like Christ, then go and reach out to the homeless. I'm not talking about going to the hub and feeding the homeless where it's an organized event. I'm not talking about something that's socially acceptable. I'm talking about, why don't we reach out to those in the hood? People ask me all the time, Dustin, why do you ride around in Cedar Grove? You shouldn't be around there. Because those are the people I'm trying to reach. Dustin, why did you go to that bar? Because there are people I'm trying to reach. Dustin, why did you hang out with that person who's gay? Because those are people I'm trying to reach, because I'm trying to live like Christ. If we can stop being religious and start being followers of Christ, maybe the church would grow, and maybe we would actually create a safe environment where people don't get bullied in the church. And that's my piece.
Thank you so much for listening, guys. No. To go on this last thing, I wanted to talk about, and I agree, I was bullied in my own church, my own youth group.
Right.
Name calling, even pushing me around outside, before, after service. It's come on. So, and that's the biggest thing, within the churches, the Christians, the real Christians, a Christ follower, right, is supposed to love. It's supposed to care. It's supposed to be there, okay? If you look how Jesus was, right, okay, he was no bully like the religious people, the Pharisees, the Romans, I put Catholic in there, whoopsies, but he was not like that. A real Christian, the one that Jesus walked as, loved people, didn't care who they looked like, where they came from, where they were, what they were doing, didn't care if they had leprosy all over them, didn't care, okay, if they were an adulteress or adulterer or a tax collector, which is still bad today. No, but no, just kidding, guys. But the whole point is, he still loved them. He cared for them. He didn't ignore them. He didn't call them names. He didn't push them aside. He didn't think they were less than anybody else. In fact, he lifted them up above himself. Okay, that is what Christianity should be. Yes. That's what it is. And now it's been Americanized. What's this have to do with bullying? It has everything to do with bullying. Because how a real Christian or a man of God or a woman of God should act, if they acted like a real Christian, if you acted like Jesus, if you acted like the person, the moral human you're supposed to be, the bullying, even in teenagers, would dramatically decrease almost 100%, at least 60 to 70%, if not all. And real quick, I want to touch on this last thing, and then we're going to wrap it up. I was researching here from the U.S. government. There is no federal anti-bullying law. Although 49 states have anti-bullying legislations, bullying is not illegal. In particular, when a youth dies by suicide, it is misleading to cover the story as a crime, rather considering it as covering it as a public health issue. When bullying is also harassment, it does break a federal law, though, when it is seen as an harassment. Only about 20 to 30% of students who are bullied notify adults about the bullying. A third, if that. Because they're afraid to. Because of this whole snitch mentality. If you tell someone, I'm going to mess you up more. I'm going to kill your family. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to kill you after work. You better tell no one. Okay? Most of the time, though, not every time, most of the time, those are empty threats, guys. But at the same time, you got to tell somebody. Okay? You don't have to be open about it, but you got to tell that person. You got to tell somebody. Okay? Of authority who can make a difference, though. Don't just tell your buddies. Because that's how the gossip's going to go around, right? You tell the authoritative figure that you can find, a parent, a friend parent, and a family, a counselor, or teachers. And teachers and counselors, you better listen.
Please listen.
Listen to these kids. You're like, well, you don't understand. You're not a teacher. You're right. I'm not. Well, I am a teacher when it came to kids in summer camps, and I had a legal job as a martial arts teacher and a martial arts counselor. It's not a school teacher, no. But I got kids who came in from school saying their teacher wouldn't do crap for them. So that's why they had to turn to us at the karate dojo.
And this isn't going after all teachers or
No.
anything like that.
We're not saying everyone.
You know, I've had some great teachers that stepped into my life and has counseled me.
Yes, there are those out there. We are underappreciated.
We really appreciate y'all. But the ones that do sit idly by and do nothing about it, those that they do have that just kind of brush it off type deal, that's what we're targeting.
And that speaks a lot to my coaches out there. Okay, coaches, football coaches, female tennis coaches, or female basketball, male basketball, whatever. You guys and girls, you men, ladies and gentlemen, you teachers and coaches, you're the ones that influence mostly the athletic, and I guess you would combine that with the popular groups or the kids that really need the help, right? You guys, how they see you organize the field and talk to other people and talk to the team. That's how they're going to see it and view life. So it's up to you guys as teachers and coaches and principals, too, to run the schools. And a lot of y'all do an amazing job and are completely underpaid and underappreciated. I agree 100,000%. But those that we're talking about here that are idolizing or idling yourself and putting yourself away from these situations or turning your head the other way to ignore it is a problem. Parents, when you don't do anything and it's all about just your kid, that's a problem, okay? Oh, my kid would never do that. Little Susie's amazing. She would never talk about another person. Yeah, little Susie would.
Little Susie done posted 500,000 type things on somebody
Because little
else.
Susie, your little innocent child, was at the party too. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just saying that there's this whole concept that women and girls can be just as bad as bullies as men can be as bullies. And it goes both ways, same gender, both, cross gender, whatever. Okay? So we're going to have to stop it back here. I'm going to calm down.
We got to calm down. We got to take a breather.
I need to breathe. I'm getting... Right.
I need to eat because I'm heavy set.
I'm really hungry too, man. I'm getting hungry. So
I'm heavy set and I'm angry. I got to eat. I got to get a Snickers.
Here's a Snickers. You're not you when you're hungry. Sponsored by Snickers, right? All right, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. I know that was kind of a intense episode. We hope you guys enjoyed it or learned something. Or hate us. I don't care.
Hopefully you got motivated to do something.
That's what we hope. That's the whole goal. Once again, November 10th, if you're in the Shreveport, Bossier, or surrounding Arklatex areas, Arkansas, Texas, Mississippi, even Alabama, if you want to drive out here, it's going to be a pretty big event.
Yes.
We got DJs. We got a professional bodylifter power demonstration. We got comedians. We got so many cool things. We got guest speakers and testimonies. We got dance recitals. We got martial arts demonstrations. We got a lot of stuff, guys. So
free giveaways. We're giving out a few things. So.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be great. So if you can be here, great. It is a free event outside, but in a stage area. So it's going to be cool. We have canopies and everything set up. It's going to be food. It's going to be coffee. So it's going to be great.
Yes.
November 10th, 6 o'clock to 10 p.m. It's going to be great. It's a Saturday. If you guys like the video or like to make it, you can comment, like, and subscribe below. Or if you're on Facebook watching this, you can comment on the video below and on our Facebook pages, and make sure you say hi. If you'd like to be on one of our videos or a guest, or you have any ideas, you can email us at scottloftin, Loftin, acting@gmail.com, and we will hopefully respond to you, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you guys so much for watching.
So with that, love, peace, and a whole lot of chicken grease. We'll see you later.
See you later, guys. Bye.
Peace.